Okay, welcome in everyone. Let's dive right into this explainer where we are unlocking the senior examiner's ultimate masterclass for scoring in the very good band on the Cambridge Arabic A, S, and A-level paper 4. Now, if you've been endlessly searching for that exact, unshakable, structural blueprint to elevate your exam performance from just, average to absolutely exceptional, you are in the exact right place. For this session, we are officially entering the High-Rise Exam Construction Workshop. Whether you're working through IGCSE, O, AS, or A levels, we are going to treat your exam response like a massive, high-stakes building project today. I want you to picture two builders we see in the exam hall all the time. First, we have Alex. Now, Alex knows every fact in the textbook, but Alex just stacks way too many unorganized factual bricks on the page without any mortar holding them together. And then we have Sam. Sam focuses entirely on this flashy exterior design, beautiful handwriting, elegant phrasing, but completely forgets to build the load-bearing sentence structures underneath. By the end of this explainer, you are going to learn how to avoid both of those mistakes. You'll know exactly how to lay down an unshakable thesis foundation and erect load-bearing arguments that can withstand literally the most rigorous scrutiny from Cambridge examiners. So here is our schematic layout for today's build. We're going to decode paper for success, master your theoretical foundations, map out the technical methodology, scale up to critical analysis, and finally do a site walkthrough of the top examiner warnings. All right, let's get right to work with Section 1, Decoding Paper for Success. Now, you might be wondering, why is this so difficult? This is the million-dollar question pulled straight from the principal examiner reports. And honestly, it is exactly where most student structural frameworks just completely crack under the immense pressure of the exam hall. Year after year, examiners note this highly specific pattern. They see candidates, like our builder Alex, who can flawlessly memorize facts and present them beautifully on the page. But when it comes time to actually take that evidence, interrogate it, and draw a powerful, customized conclusion, the whole shebang falls apart. It's exactly like stacking those unorganized factual bricks I mentioned earlier. You can stack them as high as you want, but without the analytical mortar to bind them, eventually a stiff breeze, or in this case, a rigorous marker review, is going to tip that wall right over. You simply can't rely on assessment objective 1, which is just knowledge recall, to carry you. You need to balance it perfectly with analysis and evaluation. So how exactly do we fix this massive structural gap in your writing? Well, the ultimate solution here is a real game changer. It turns out examiners actively reward your underlying process. This is what we call the method mark strategy. When you're aiming for that 20 to 21 point very good mark band, your procedural framework is literally just as important as your final conclusion. Think about our other builder, Sam, who has that flashy exterior but no internal support. The examiners aren't just driving by to look at the final building. They want to see your structural blueprints. They want to see a systematic analysis and evidence-based reasoning happening right there on the paper. If you can show them exactly how you arrived at your conclusion, step by step, you secure those vital method marks. Even if your final deduction isn't absolutely flawless, proving that your structural skeleton is sound on a metaphorical digital grid overlay is what saves your grade. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Theoretical Foundations. Okay, to erect a genuinely very good response, your theoretical architecture must rest heavily on these three fundamental principles. First up, precise definitions. You have to show the examiner you know exactly what your academic terms mean. You're setting the boundaries of your construction site. Second, causal relationships. This is absolutely crucial, guys. You can't just list events or facts randomly. You must show the examiner exactly why one thing directly caused another within the context of the provided texts. These are your load-bearing walls. And third, integration. This means proving to the marker that you don't just see the topic isolated in a vacuum, but rather as part of a much larger, interconnected structure of academic knowledge. And bringing it all together, the crucial point here is that top-performing students demonstrate their mastery by transferring their conceptual understanding to completely unfamiliar contexts across the syllabus. The principal examiner reports highlight this over and over and over again. For example, if you can take a complex cultural or linguistic concept you learned in one module of the Arabic 9680 syllabus and seamlessly, accurately apply it to a completely different literary context in Paper 4, wow, you are instantly signaling to the examiner that you are a high-caliber candidate. You're showing them that your knowledge isn't just a bunch of disconnected rooms, it's a fully integrated, adaptable, and genuinely profound architectural marvel. All right, grab your hard hats because we are stepping onto the active construction site for Section 3, Technical Methodology and Execution. Okay, brief pause on the blueprint. Site inspection time. If you want to continually fortify your academic foundations and get weekly structural grade upgrades just like this, you need to subscribe to Ace the Exams at the handle at Ace the Exams right now, and make sure you turn on all notifications. Okay, inspection over. Let's resume the build. What we have here brilliantly illustrates the six-step procedural framework you absolutely must follow to guarantee your text blocks survive rigorous examiner inspection. Step 1, you deconstruct the question. Step 2, extract relevant data from the stimulus texts. Step 3, select your analytical framework. But wait, what happens if you hit an unexpected structural crack mid-paragraph during Step 4's execution? This is where you bring in the Peel matrix to weld your evidence to your analysis flawlessly. PEEL, point, evidence, explanation, link. You make your point, you drop your text evidence, you explain why it matters, and you link it back to the question. Once that's welded, you move to Step 5, verify results, and finally Step 6, present with correct terminology. If you skip a step, you are seriously risking a total structural collapse in your essay. Now we're taking the elevator up to the highest tier of floors in Section 4, critical analysis and evaluation. Okay, it is time for a live audience diagnostics stress test. We are going to test your ability to extract the primary metric here. I'm putting 60 seconds on a visual countdown timer in your mind. Look at the characteristics across these three levels. What's the core structural difference?
on the page. It's basic, it's the basement level. An analytical answer takes a step up and interprets the relationships between that data. But an evaluative answer? Oh, that is the penthouse suite, my friends. That is where true structural grade upgrades happen. That's where you evaluate alternatives, compare different approaches, aggressively question the underlying assumptions of the text, and provide highly justified recommendations backed by rock-solid evidence.
Let's do another quick viewer stress test. Identify the flaw here. Imagine Sam, our builder with the flashy exterior, writes a beautiful paragraph pointing out exactly how two literary texts in the Arabic syllabus are completely different, and concludes the essay. What's the structural gap that causes a total mark drop? It's right here in this quote. When comparing approaches, you can never forget to use comparative connectives to highlight both the similarities and the differences before drawing your conclusions. A massive amount of students fall into the exact trap Sam did. They only point out how two things differ. But higher-order assessment objectives demand that you dig deeper and find those subtle similarities too. By using strong comparative connectives, words like conversely, similarly, or in stark contrast, you create a beautifully welded, seamless argument that guides the examiner perfectly through your logic without any bumpy transitions. For our final site inspection, let's head into Section 5, Top Examiner Warnings. So we are pulling the top 3 high-alert structural flaws directly from the principal examiner reports. These are the absolute classic traps where candidates bleed marks. First, using the wrong approach for the context. That's like trying to use a heavy sledgehammer to tighten a tiny screw. It just doesn't work. Second, forgetting to check your format and presentation conventions. If your essay's formatting is a messy disaster and lacks proper paragraphing, examiners literally cannot follow your logic. And third, the biggest, most dangerous trap of all, providing generic answers. This happens when you just memorize a textbook response and dump those unorganized factual bricks onto the page without tailoring them to the specific scenario. Honestly, if you take away just one single thing from this entire explainer, let it be this golden rule. A flashy exterior design means absolutely nothing if your arguments aren't welded flawlessly to the specific scenario provided. You could write the most beautifully worded, grammatically perfect Arabic paragraph in the world, but if it doesn't directly interact with the stimulus materials, the actual texts, or the specific cultural or linguistic context given in the exam question, it is going to score terribly. Every single point you make must be deeply anchored to the scenario on the paper. No exceptions. Now, to help you look this in, we're going to recap the 3 rules of sentence engineering, packaged neatly into a memory hack you can use under the intense pressure of exam conditions. Use the acronym FACT to keep your analysis structurally sound. Before you finalize any answer, I want you to run it through this quick mental stress test. F stands for format. Is my presentation clear? A is for approach. Did I select the right framework? C is context. Is my answer fully locked into the specific scenario? And T is terminology. Am I using the precise academic terms? If you can check off all 4 letters of FACT, your answer isn't just good, it's built to last. But listen, knowledge is just a blueprint until you actually pick up your tools and start building. So my question to you is, how will you implement this method mark strategy today? I challenge you to pull up a high-tariff past paper as soon as we're done here, apply that 6-step procedural framework, use the Peel matrix, and run your final answer through the FACT checklist. Are you just going to be an Alex stacking unorganized factual bricks hoping they hold up? Or are you going to engineer a very good argument designed to withstand any examiner scrutiny? It is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me in the High-Rise Exam Construction Workshop today. Don't forget your final step. Be sure to subscribe to Ace the Exams at the handle @AceTheExams. Absolutely smash that notification bell and leave a comment down below right now with your specific subject and level so we know what to build next. Keep engineering those top-tier grades, and I'll see you in the next explainer.